All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our post-orientation family workshop. My name is Bobby Lynn Kekic, and I'm the Director for New Student Programs. I am joined today with many of our campus experts. So I want to invite them to introduce themselves, and then we'll learn a little bit about some of the areas that we will cover today and get things started. So Nicole, would you like to start?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. So happy to be here. My name is Nicole Shabat-Weefrich, and I'm the Associate Dean for Student Engagement here at Bentley. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Horn. I'm the Assistant Director for New Student Program.
And hi, everyone. My name is Melody Smith. I'm an Academic Advisor for Undergraduate Academic Services.
Wonderful. So in just a few moments, we are going to hear a welcome from our Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Dean Shepardson. Then we will have a quick orientation recap. We'll talk about some of the other milestones that you can expect for your student to experience over the next few weeks and months. And then we'll talk a little bit about supporting your student beyond orientation. As we connect with you all tonight, please feel free to put any questions in our Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We will cover a variety of content areas, and then we'll get to those questions at the end. As you can see, we are recording this session. So if you need to refer back to it, please feel free to do so. For those of our family members who are unable to attend live, this will be recorded and available at their convenience. You're able to find this on our Bentley Orientation YouTube channel, which is easily accessible by searching on Google and or going to our website, bentley.edu/orientation, and you'll be able to find a direct link there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Andrew, would you like to give a quick welcome to our families?
Sure, Bobby Lynn, and thank you, Bobby Lynn, for putting this together and everyone for joining. And I'm really excited to welcome you to this webinar and to also welcome you to Bentley and your student who is joining us. And I want to start maybe with a little story about how I spent my weekend. I spent Saturday afternoon at our Athletic Hall of Fame banquet, where we inducted 10 new members of our community into the Athletic Hall of Fame. And what I want to share with you is these are obviously some of our finest student athletes who have been at Bentley over the last 30 years. And each of them, as they got up to talk about their experience as an athlete, went back to reference what they learned in the classroom, what they learned in their co-curricular experiences, what they learned by being a student at Bentley. And all of them talked about the transition from being a superstar athlete to going into the workforce and how much Bentley prepared them for a very successful career. They also talked about how well prepared they were for life, and they have families, many married fellow Bentley students. Not saying that that's going to happen for all of our students, but just really a great experience to hear how much they loved their student experience. And having known many of them, these athletes, it wasn't always perfect while they were students, and they had their challenges, but went through those experiences. And so I think that's something important for you to know, that our alumni are really proud of the experiences that they've had and really credit Bentley for the successful pathways that they went forward with in life. It's not always going to be perfect. And I hope what you get through today's webinar and you felt as you've gone through the experience of bringing your student to our campus is that there are a lot of people on our campus who are here to support your student, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's outside the classroom, whether it's talking about their careers or future plans. All of those pieces, we're here to really help your student. And sometimes you hear, I talk to a parent and says, well, they said no one's here to help or no one will listen. I'm like, I guarantee you, they just haven't found the right person. Email me, I will find any one of us on campus to sit and talk with them. So it's a really wonderful, welcoming place. And today is a great opportunity to get your questions answered, to the individuals on this webinar are the right people for you to know and the right people for you to reach out to say, my student needs some help, or things are going really well and I'd like you to know that. So welcome. I hope this is not the first time you join one of these webinars or interact with us, and hope you can come to campus and experience. You can see the beautiful picture there where it's green and lush and not as cold as it is out there today. But welcome to our community, and please, we always are here to help you. And I look forward to the webinar. Thank you, Bobby Lynn.
Thank you, Andrew. I couldn't have said that any better myself. So thank you for welcoming everyone and starting us off. So let's talk a little bit about what your student just experienced. Some of you may have heard from your student and had the whole rundown of what they experienced, and some of you may not have yet. So we wanted to give you just some quick insight as to what are some of the pieces that your students have been experiencing over these past few weeks. So first off, when it comes to orientation and really this foundation building for the student experience, we kickstart that with some self-guided learning modules. That is something that students are able to do at their own pace that really just provides some information and clear understanding of what are some of the expectations that they can have of our community and that the community has of them as their newest members. We also invited students to come in for a virtual orientation group meet and greet. I think one of the perks that we've learned through some of this Zoom world post some of the COVID pieces was that it allows us to really connect to folks even when folks are all around the globe. And we were able to really leverage some of these experiences to just bring a little bit of our campus and the student experience to our students and families, again, regardless of where they might be located right now. So we had many students join us on that Wednesday evening so that they could connect with their orientation leader, start to meet some of the new students. And then we had your students joining us on campus to begin experiencing their new student orientation. For some of you, you may have joined your student when they arrived. But for those of you who did not come, no worries. We've got the highlights here to share with you what your student went through. Those self-guided learning courses, I just think it's really helpful for me to just give a quick rundown so that you are aware of what some of the information that your students were learning and covering. And those 3 specific learning courses are focused on equity and inclusion, sexual assault prevention, and alcohol EDU. For us, these are really important community standards and expectations that we want to make sure that all of our community members are aware of so they can really engage and be a part of a safe and supportive community. This is something that they were able to navigate, again, at their own pace. We realized that our students were coming, from either other universities and transferring in, were maybe helping family members at home, maybe doing service, whatever that might be. We recognize that some students are busy, and so we wanted to provide some opportunities that were self-guided from the start. The course completion was great. Our students were able to maximize the learning, and then what we're able to do is take this generalized kind of foundational content and bring it into a context that they will experience at Bentley. So we were able to dive in a little bit more once we got into the orientation program, and then expose students to other opportunities that they'll have throughout their time at Bentley to really dig in more, to learn, to grow, and to be able to contribute to our supportive community. So this is some of the work that your students were doing before they even arrived to campus. But now I'm going to turn it over to Caroline to talk a little bit about some of the highlights of what they experienced with the on-campus program.
So some highlights for our day 1 program, we had a vendor fair where we were able to bring in different banks locally, different phone services, some on-campus resources for students to really start connecting with some of our various resources that they'll need as a student. And then our residential students were able to have a welcome from a few members of the residential center to start learning more about what does it look like to be a residential student, In the afternoon, our commuter students weren't on campus yet, so we were able to have a virtual meetup for them where they were able to connect with other first-year commuter students, as well as members of the student programs and engagement team and academic services. We had our Office of Spiritual Life talk a little bit about what does it look like to belong at Bentley during a new student retreat. And then we offered a Target trip for our students to get any last minute items that they needed as they moved into their rooms. For day 2 in the morning, we really focused on academics. So we had an academic overview. They learned a little bit more about academic technology and the different technology components of being a student. We had an academic resource tour where they were able to learn a little bit more about our library and what that space offers, as well as just learning more about Upper Campus, where a lot of our classroom buildings are located. In the afternoon, we focused more on community and what does it look like to be a member of the Bentley community. And we had a welcome from our student equity and inclusion team. And then we opened up our student center for students to learn more about the different lounges in the space, as well as just starting to connect with different staff members and other students. After that, they were able to have small group meetings with their orientation leaders. So they were part of a group of about 20 to 30 students. They were able to learn more about that. And then we ended the day with a hockey game and bringing them to the Bentley hockey game. For day 3, we brought in an Identity 101 workshop where they were really able to start talking about what does diversity, equity, and inclusion look like at Bentley, and what does that mean to be a member of our community. Then they were able to learn more about Bentley Plus and have their first Bentley Plus advising session. So they were able to select 2 of the 11 competencies through Bentley Plus. So they're able to participate in that during the rest of the academic year. They were able to spend some time in their small groups and really reflect on their orientation experience. And then we ended the program with a program in the Student Center called Falcon Frenzy, where we were able to have karaoke, trivia, and some other pieces there.
Yeah, as you can see, Caroline was definitely highlighting a good blend of some fun moments for community bonding building. And then, of course, the important foundational pieces of what do our students need to know before starting classes so that they're aware of resources, that they're aware of the different staff and faculty who are here to support them. I had an opportunity to clearly be there for it, and our students, your students, were so great. They were just so quick to connect with one another. They were sitting next to someone and just started chatting and talking, and it was so refreshing to just have everybody in one space experiencing that. So now we're going to learn a little bit more about some of the orientation opportunities for your students, some of the different ways that your student might continuing to be engaging with this new cohort that they came in with, or just some of the other important new student milestones. Caroline, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So first, we have the Bentley Plus program, where students are able to select from a list of 11 competencies that were created based off the NACE competencies from employers on what they're looking for from graduating seniors. And so through that program, they're able to participate in 3 advising sessions with staff advisors and really focus on those 2 to 3 competencies that they pick for each year. They can focus on that through their extracurricular involvements, through the academic piece, and really just starting to focus more on about 2 to 3, and then they can select more during the rest of their time at Bentley. Other milestones are the Falcon Discovery Seminar, which happens during a student's first semester at Bentley. And then CDI is run through the Career Development Center, and that is offered during the spring semester of a student's first year.
Awesome. Now, Before we get into some of the additional content and resources that your student will be experiencing and has the opportunity to connect with, we wanted to invite you to participate in an activity that we did with your students. What we prompted them to do was to log onto this website. It looks familiar. It looks just like what's on your screen right here. And then Caroline actually just posted in the chat the direct link. So please feel free to click on that. And what we asked the students to do was write a letter to themselves and reflecting on their thoughts, their goals, and their wishes throughout this first semester here at Bentley. We had them date it for the end of the semester, right before they're getting into finals, and then they will receive this. And hopefully it will be a wonderful reminder of their wishes, their hopes, their dreams as they were starting this new chapter here at Bentley. So what we wanted to do is provide you with the same opportunity. So please feel free to go ahead and click that link or type in www.futureme.org. And if you are feeling reflective for yourself, you can clearly write it for you. But we've always invited families to write this to their new Falcon. So you can go ahead and put their email address at the bottom. And then on May 3rd, when they're getting that letter that they drafted for themselves, they'll also see one from you. And our students have really shared with us that this has been such a bright moment towards the end of their first semester where they really get to reflect on, wow, I can't believe how much I've accomplished, in these short few months before they're then able to head into their summer break, whether they're taking classes or working or doing an internship, whatever that might be for them. But just a really nice way to make sure that they're taking that moment to reflect. So I don't want to disrupt your reflection, but please make sure that you take that time to go ahead and send that to your Falcon. I'm confident that it will put a smile on their face. So what I would love to do is invite Nicole to talk a little bit more about some of the additional resources and focus areas that your students really have access to. We are going to share this information and continue to share this information with our students, but we wanted to make sure that you all, as family members, support people, have this information in your back pocket, because we know that just because your students on our campus now does not mean that they're going to just, stop reaching out to you for support and advice. And any way that we can help to provide you with resources and knowledge around some of our opportunities, some of our staffs, our offices, our key moments on campus can just hopefully allow you to share that with them. And then of course, balance that with, helping them to advocate for themselves and to really make the most of this experience. So Nicole, can you share a little bit more with us around these focus areas?
Sure, absolutely, Bobby Lynn, and thank you again. It's wonderful to be here with you all. And just really quickly, Bobby Lynn, I think as a parent, you and I can both agree that sometimes taking a minute to write a note to yourself could be everything that you need for that day. So I love that idea. Really excited to talk to you more about our Division of Student Affairs this evening. My hope is that what you're seeing on the screen is not a surprise to you, having heard already the information tonight that we infuse in our orientation program. These three focus areas of student well-being, equity and inclusion, and social connection are woven through the fabric of the work that we do in student affairs. We have a division with over 170 staff that are working in numerous departments to help you there, to be a resource for your students, to motivate them to get involved, to make sure that they're meeting their needs, whether that be basic needs like health and wellness, making sure that they have housing that is comfortable for them, making sure that they have places to be and socialize and events to participate in so that their lives here can be incredibly full and robust. For student well-being, it's a really big focus for us, certainly coming out of COVID. We are working with a generation of students that has a lot of different needs. We've all lived through this really big change in our lives, in our communities, and now we're back in what is as normal as it could be following that experience. But our students have different needs with their mental health as well. We've seen a lot of motivation from our students to be actively and proactively engaging in mental well-being. We have an Active Minds chapter that is working on getting recognized on campus, which is really in being involved to help other students with their mental wellness and balance and belonging, rest, all of those themes that are so important to our students. Our health center is incredibly active. We have a number of initiatives going on campus with community well-being and health promotions and programs, yoga classes, different wellness classes. We have peer educators in that area that really help meet students where they're at. So there's no lack of resources in this area of student well-being. And I'd also be remiss to not mention that we have an incredible opportunity for students to get involved in fitness. We have a great fitness center in our athletics area. We also have a very robust intramural program. About half, if not more than half of our students participate in our intramurals. And then we certainly have club sports. We have our varsity athletics. So we have a really big focus on this area of well-being and recognize how different and multifaceted that can be. And it can mean a lot of different things for different students. In our equity and inclusion area, again, BL spoke to the modules as well as the identity programming that Caroline mentioned that really shows how we weave this from before students are here all the way through their orientation programming. Our multicultural center has had a really exciting semester, and we're so happy for your students to be joining us at this time, where we've just dedicated a new lounge in our student center for our multicultural center and our students of color in honor of one of our beloved staff members, Claudette Blatt, who has been at the university for, I believe, more than 3 decades. Andrew can correct me if I'm wrong, but really this lounge is a student project where we heard student voices, their need for more space, their need for an expansion of a sense of identity and a sense of belonging and home. And I think that this is a great representation of how this value lives and breathes for us every day. It's not the end. You know, we have a lot more work to do, and we are always looking to support our students who come to us with such a myriad of identities and really understand exactly what their needs are and how to create an inclusive community, how to make sure that our students are talking to one another across difference. We also have a gender sexuality student programs office and lounge that supports a number of programs around gender and sexual orientation. Our sacred space and our spiritual life center is getting ready to do their annual meal packing event where they pack thousands of meals for the community. And we support a number of faith traditions on campus. So this area is really robust and incredibly active all the time. The last thing that isn't covered in this area is our support of our international students. I recognize some of you watching may have a student that is here who's an international student, and we have a great team to support their adjustment and transition as well. And then finally, just to touch on social connection, which is near and dear to my heart. I get the great privilege of working with our student programs and engagement team, and of course, Bobby Lynn and Caroline and the new student programs team here tonight. But our social connection is really where we provide students the opportunity to do things that they're passionate about, to connect with one another. We have over 120 student organizations on our campus. During the winter orientation program, the January orientation, we had an activities fair during that first week of school where we allowed students to really get a sense of what clubs are on campus, how they can get involved. We had some great programming for our Winter Welcome Back Week that really gave students opportunities to get out there, see some of our traditional events. And it's a really exciting semester to come into Bentley. Our student clubs and organizations do some of their biggest events in the spring. We have our Black United Body Fashion Show. We have a number of student galas. We'll have our Spring Day event at the end of the semester. And that's really just a few of what will be hundreds of programs that our students put on throughout the year. So Bentley is a really vibrant place, and in student affairs, we really love to live within our values, live our focus areas out loud, and make sure that our students are really feeling these 3 themes as they walk life on our campus. So I will pause there and welcome any questions in the Q&A about any of those things as we move forward, and turn it over to Mel so that she can speak to you further.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. So, hi everybody. Again, my name's Mel. I'm an academic advisor, and I'm here to talk to you all really about how your student can achieve academic success within their first year. So, there's three kind of big areas that I want to share with you all. The first is connecting with academic advising, our office. We have a small but mighty group of academic advisors always here to help your student. So, we want to talk about how your student can connect with us. We also want to talk about the adjustment to college academics. Sometimes, that can be smooth, and sometimes students, there's a little bit of that transition period. And so how to kind of help your student when resources might be needed. And also talking about exploring academic opportunities and what exactly that looks like, and how students can do that. So connecting with academic advising. I have a lot of things on the screen, but we'll make sure to go through them all so that you kind of know how your student can connect with us. So each student gets an assigned academic advisor. This can be found on their Workday account underneath the academics tab. Their advisor is assigned to them during their full duration at Bentley. The only time their advisor would ever be changed is if a staffing change occurs in our office, and we always make sure to notify students so that they are aware of that process happening. We have drop-ins weekdays. So any day, any weekday that Bentley is open, students can come to our office between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. These are quick 10-minute discussions. Typically, they're with a peer advisor, which is a junior or a senior student who's trained by our office to help support students. These meetings can be something where a student might need resources for a class, or they might need help declaring their major. Again, they are 10-minute discussions, so something that they might want to actually chat through instead of sending an email. We also have appointments. Appointments are with professional staff, so professional academic advisors. These are up to 30 minutes long, and these are scheduled in advance. Students can schedule appointments with their advisor or with any other advisor that is available through Workday. These meetings are for more in-depth conversations. Typically, the most, kind of repeat reason that we see students making appointments is for long-range planning. So after a couple of semesters, once your student kind of has an idea of maybe what major or minor they are, or if your student is a transfer student, they might already kind of be in that process of starting major classes, they might want to make an appointment with one of us and kind of map out, okay, I want to do this major, but what classes do I need to take? And I'm thinking about this minor. I also want to study abroad. Help. That's a perfect reason to come to an appointment with us. Again, more in-depth conversations, or if your student has a concern and again, they want to sit down with us, they can appointment through Workday. We also have our advising brief newsletter. This is a monthly publication and it gets emailed to all students. Our first issue for this semester was just sent the first week of class, and it does hold lots of important information. It tells students the difference between drop-ins and appointments, and since those will be new to your students, as well as goes over some important dates for the semester. So make sure that your student is reading those emails. Again, we keep students up to date, and also we'll be including articles written by our academic advisors as well as our peer advisors in the future. We also offer programming, a wide variety of programming. We do pop-up advising where we will just kind of go to other random buildings on campus and interact with students. And again, a kind of quick 5-minute conversation pace. We also offer various workshops. In the past, we've done workshops with athletics. We've done workshops with Greek life, other student orgs and clubs, as well as kind of doing workshops for class years, to be able to specifically cater to what they might need. A senior might have different academic kind of things that they want to go over versus a first year or transfer in their first semester. We also hold an academic programs fair. This occurs typically in October of every year, and it actually includes all departments, all majors and minors, and it gives students the opportunity, again, to talk to faculty, gather some more information on what programs they might be interested in as well. So the adjustment to college academics, like I said, can be one that is very smooth, but typically we do see some bumps along the way, and that's why we're here to help. So things that your student might be adjusting to as they kind of begin this semester at Bentley is really focusing on their study skills. Things that they might have used in past academic situations might not be able to work for Bentley. So how might they alter their study skills or continue to improve their study skills to be successful in the classroom? They're also working on time management, a different schedule of classes versus high school, and also wanting to get involved with clubs and organizations. Students should look to connect with faculty. So not just go to class and listen and interact and then leave. They really should be actually starting to have conversations with faculty and getting to know them. We do see that students typically at the junior and senior level always do have a faculty mentor that helps them through their major classes. We also have campus resources. Bentley has a wide variety of learning centers and learning labs. So if a student is, again, struggling maybe in academics, they should always try to connect with one of those learning labs. We do have those posted on our website as well if a student is in need of those. FDS 100 peer leader. We already were talking about the Falcon Discovery Seminar earlier, but the great thing about that class is that there is a student peer leader. That is kind of your student's go-to. They might have a question about registration when it's coming up, or they might just have a question on how do you make an appointment with academic services? So the peer leader is someone that's really great for that. If your student is a transfer student, they are not in FDS 100. They're in a separate class called Transfer Seminar that also has a student peer leader in that class as well. So whether you're technically a first year student or a transfer, everyone's in a class that has a peer leader, and they're a great support system for you. And then finally, just talking about access and refine approach. So again, how is your student maybe accessing our resources? How is your student showing up to class and being present and taking in the lessons that they are being taught? And how are they maybe changing their approach on their homework or changing their approach to how they kind of enter the classroom so that they are fully present and dedicated and focused on being academically successful? And finally, exploring academic opportunities. We know that Bentley students are very, very eager typically to jump right into their major classes, and they just want to know everything about their major and their minor that they've picked out. However, we do really want them to take a second and really look into programs of interest. They might have a major that is at the top of their minds, like finance, but they might not know that we have a major called corporate finance and accounting that actually blends finance and accounting together. And that might actually be a better fit for your student than what they originally were thinking. So they should really take time to look into the programs of interest, whether that is attending our academics programs fair, whether that is taking classes and joining organizations that are around academic programs. Like I said, they should avoid making decisions within their first semester if possible, other than eliminating options. For example, if math maybe is not your strong suit, then maybe data analytics is not a major that you were looking for. So you can kind of cross that one off the list and continue looking at other options that Bentley offers. Focusing on gathering information. So again, connecting with faculty, reaching out to students who are in that major, and asking them, what are these classes like? What are you learning? Connecting with, again, the faculty, the departments, gathering kind of the answers to their questions on, is this maybe the major that I'm thinking of? And is this really what I want to pursue while at Bentley? And of course, begin defining academic goals. I talked about this a little bit earlier when discussing a long-range plan. If a student wants to study abroad, that is a goal that they can add to their list because that still encompasses taking classes elsewhere, but using those credits to continue their Bentley degree. Some students want to do 2 majors and a minor. Some students aren't really sure and they kind of want to space things out and figure it out. So really kind of figuring out what does your student want to do with their time at Bentley academically and start kind of going through those goals. And then of course, connecting back with their academic advisor as we're the ones that are here to support them during however long they are at Bentley for.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mel. That was such wonderful information. And Nicole, thank you so much for talking a little bit about some of the ways that our student affairs team represents and supports our students. We wanted to also invite you to learn from other campus partners or other campus experts, not partners, experts, which is our students who are currently community members. And so we have a wonderful opportunity that we wanted to share with you tonight, which for those of you who already follow us on Instagram, you will see this coming up. If you do not currently follow us, please make sure that you do go on and follow us at Welcome Falcons. We will be hosting some different live Q&A opportunities for our Falcon family members. That can be you all as our newest family members. This can also be for our students too. You know, you all are part of our Falcon family, and we want to make sure that you are getting your questions answered. So please go on there and follow us so that you can learn more about these opportunities to connect directly with our students. If you are someone that is on Facebook, we will be posting these stories to Facebook too. So if that is a little bit more accessible, you can go ahead and view that content there. If you are not someone that is on social media and you would still like to connect with the current student, you are welcome to reach out to us via email, and we can go ahead and set you up with one of our student leaders to ask some of those questions directly from the students. You know, you have Bentley students now, so you can definitely be asking them, but we know that family members have expressed that it's nice to be able to know who are some of your students' peers and how are they experiencing life at Bentley? What are some of the ways that they've been engaging and making the most of their time, whether that's through clubs and organizations, whether that's learning about the different majors or opportunities that students are taking academically. So lots of great ways for you to continue to learn more about the student experience and what is happening. Before we open it up to questions, I did want to make sure that I could put some of our email accounts and some signature websites on the screen for you to see. I will put this up one more time once we're done with question and answer, but these are, you know, some of the campus resources that you are always welcome to reach out to. Caroline and I work in new student programs, so please feel free to reach out to us at orientation@bentley.edu. I know I've worked with some of our family members who are on this call now. It's been so wonderful getting to know you, and please know that we're here to continue to be a resource for you. Academic services, Mel, as she said, she's got a small but mighty awesome team who's here to support your students and to help answer questions. So please feel free to reach out to that team. And then this is our general student affairs email as well. This is a great spot for if you are just not quite sure where to ask that question, you can always send it to our GA Student Affairs account, and we're happy to direct that to the appropriate office. Bentley Plus is a signature event that we host here at Bentley, and so we wanted to make sure that you could learn a little bit more about that. I know Caroline gave some foundational information on the program, but this is a great way for your student to get involved and maximize the work that they're doing in and out of the classroom. And please dig into that. I know we had a lot of students in our most recent advising sessions who maybe one of your students, they just went through orientation and are already digging into that second advising session. If for some reason they're not choosing to continue this semester, no worries. Bentley Plus is something that students can pick up each semester. So if your student hasn't continued with the program this semester, they can definitely join in the fall if that's something that they want to look into. And then we also have a website that just digs in a little bit more into those first year milestones. So if you go ahead and navigate to that page, it will show you what are some of those milestones that your students are going to experience. You know, Nicole mentioned some of those signature programs that are going to be coming up, but this just gives you a little bit of insight into that holistic approach of what they can expect in a fall semester, in a spring semester. What are some of those highlights? So just some general spaces to continue this education and opportunities. So I am going to pause and stop sharing my screen for a moment so that way you can see all of our panelists and be able to ask any of those questions that you may have. And please feel free to add them to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'd be happy to talk through them.
While we wait for some questions to come in, I'd love to offer, I had the opportunity over the past couple of weeks to do some of the Bentley Plus session 2 with students who joined us in January. And I just was incredibly impressed at how they're already able to identify things they have gotten involved with, ways that they're really thinking critically about their coursework and how that blends in with their out of classroom involvements and life on campus. So even though it's really just been a few weeks for those folks, it's been exciting to be in those Bentley Plus sessions with them and seeing how much they're grasping the opportunities that are in front of them. So like BL said, it could certainly be any of your students that were at those tables with us, but just really positive engagement in those sessions, and excited to see that from this cohort.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with our students who joined us this January. I just feel like the energy, the drive, the excitement it's just so wonderful. I think we've just seen your students just start digging into their Bentley experience right from the start, and it's really energizing to be able to see that. We have some folks that are being shy. So what I will ask my panelists, are there any questions that you typically get, whether it's from newer students or newer family members, that you think could be helpful for folks to be aware of? Or just tips or advice that you'd like to share?
I would share, while Mel was speaking about faculty, I think it's so important to connect with faculty outside the classroom. My advice to students is always, with like at week 3 or 4, go to the faculty member with a question you actually know the answer to, or at least pretty confident you do. So you have a really good conversation, but it's small class sizes for a reason. You really need to make those connections, and it's so important that faculty know who they are. And just a really important part of the experience is to really connect with faculty in the classroom.
I would also add, I didn't speak a lot to this, but we do have about 20% of our student body that are members of our fraternity and sorority life community. We have just gone through formal recruitment for our sororities and are midway through our fraternity recruitment. So this is a really robust community for our students. It's something a lot of students are seeking as a part of their college experience. Transfer students who did come in with enough credits were able to participate this semester. So some of your students may have gone through recruitment, but we do have a deferred recruitment plan, which really expects that our students have 1 semester on campus before getting involved with our fraternity and sorority life community to get their feet under them, get the lay of the land a little bit and understand what they're interested in. But we know that this is often an area where families have questions because of the high risk nature of the things that you may see in the media. But what I can say is our Greek leadership is some of the student leaders that I am most proud of. They are exceptional at really leading their chapters and caring about the values of their organizations, the values of the university. We have a very philanthropic community and service-oriented community, and also very academically successful. So we see that students in our chapters tend to actually have higher GPAs than the Bentley average. So it is really an exciting part of many students' college experience, but if there are any questions about that your students have or that you have, the Student Programs and Engagement team is a great resource for you to answer those.
I don't want to cut any other panelists off from their tips just yet, but we have gotten a few questions, so I just wanted to pose those to the group. And then please feel free to add in any additional thoughts or tips as we wrap up. But one person had asked that they would love the opportunity to come back onto campus to enjoy a program with their student. How can they get a list of some events to attend? So Nicole, I didn't know if maybe you wanted to talk a little bit about campus groups.
Sure. So we have this wonderful platform on our campus, a software called Campus Groups, which is really our student engagement hub. All of our student organizations have a page on Campus Groups, but the other function that really speaks to this question is that we have an events calendar. That events calendar does not require a login to see it. There may be some limitations of events. If they are for Bentley only, then they may not show up. But it really is an opportunity for you to look there. Many, if not almost all of our student events, there's a few that are ticketed and more limited, are really open. We have a lot of student groups who love to invite families, especially to our performance events where they're really proud of what they've put together. So if you are looking for something to do with your student that they're involved in, we often are seeing and welcoming families onto campus to participate. But also if you and your student are looking to just do something together and find something to have a shared experience on, and you're looking at the calendar and not quite sure, you can always call the Student Programs and Engagement Office. And I'm happy to put the Campus Groups event calendar link and that phone number in the chat, because staff could certainly point you in the right direction of some events to go to.
Yeah, the other thing that I'll offer up is we have a signature event every fall called Falcon Weekend. And this is an opportunity for alumni, family, folks local to the Waltham community, faculty, staff, current students to all come together. There's a variety of events. There's different lectures, there's athletic events, there's social events. So this is something that we see a lot of families come back to and supporting their student over that weekend, not just exploring what we have on campus, but also the local area. So would highly encourage if travel is an option and you're able to make it to campus in the fall. That's always such a wonderful event to be able to invite our families to near and far. So something to mark your calendar for. Typically, we will start posting what that date is later in the summer, so that way families are able to plan if they are going to be traveling to campus for that. Another question that popped up is, what is the best way to support our student in their grades over the course of the semester? So Mel, just wanted to give some space if you had any tips or advice around that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that sometimes when students are, kind of starting at Bentley, it is, I think, sometimes a little different for students and their supporting humans, adults, parents, family, etc., to kind of have conversations when it comes to the academic success, because your student might not be coming home to you every single day like they might have in who knows how many years previously. So you can't say every day, like, how is class? How's this test? When's this homework due? It is a little bit different. So you kind of need to change a little bit of those conversations or how you have them. So I would definitely always just be asking your student, like, how are things going? What classes are you in? What's something interesting that you learned? Do you have any projects coming up? Give them the space to kind of be able to share what about their academic journey they want. But then also, I think having a conversation with your student about when maybe they need to reach out for resources or for help, right? I think sometimes a lot of our students are very, very determined, which is something that I love about our Bentley students. They know what they want and they're going to go out and get it. And sometimes they might struggle a little bit on asking for help. So having a conversation with your student and saying, okay, you talked about this class once, but I haven't heard anything since. Like, how's everything going? Is this one that you're maybe not as excited about, but are we still making being successful in that class? And also just encouraging them to reach out to the resources. Like I said, our office in academic services, or we have a variety of learning labs and centers. Something that is, different, right, is that your student at this point does kind of get the opportunity to share with you what they want. So having kind of that very transparent and sit down conversation with them and just reminding them that you are there to support them, and figuring out what the best way to do that within your relationship is, because every student and every, like I said, supporting human, family, parent, etc., is very different. So having that conversation and figuring out what's going to be the best for you and your student.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Any other last minute questions that our participants have, or any other words of wisdom or advice that our panelists have for families? I think something I would share is, we've discussed a lot of opportunities and resources, and the students are hearing similar messaging, but it takes some time for them to really digest and decide, what is my path at Bentley? How am I going to make the most of this? And so I think I would just encourage our family members and our students to just keep showing up, keep trying new things, keep trying to experience what their path might be at Bentley. There are endless opportunities, endless resources. If students don't see a club or organization that they are interested in, well, heck, they can create one, and we have ways for them to do that. So there's lots of opportunity. There's lots of staff and faculty who are here to help your students succeed, but we really, really want to empower students to be self-advocates and to work towards making this the best opportunity they can. But we also know that sometimes students aren't going to reach out for that help. So please know that we are here if you're connecting with your student and maybe they're not sure where to go to, or they're not sure who to connect with. You are always welcome to reach out to, one of us, and we'd be happy to work with your student directly or to give you some additional resources to share with your student. At the end of the day, we want to see them succeed. We want them to find their place at Bentley and make sure that they're feeling connected and a sense of belonging. So yeah, we're just really grateful that they are here. We're really grateful that you've joined us today and that you're learning more about these resources. And please know that we are here and that there are continued resources throughout this Bentley experience. I referenced earlier our Bentley YouTube channel. So please feel free, even though your student is not onboarding into Bentley, there's a lot of really great, rich information and resources there. Some of the panelists here have presented on other topics over the past few months, so please use that resource. And as we are getting close to wrapping up this session, we did have one more question that I wanted to make sure we could get to. And this is about joining a club and organization. So one of our participants had said that they've heard great things about the investment club at Bentley, and what is the best way for our student to reach out and try to join this club? So Nicole,
Sure.
I'm going to throw it to you.
Yep, no problem. So the Bentley Investment Group is one of our most popular student organizations at Bentley. It is really, it's got a very high membership, and our students do a lot of really great things in the organization. The best way for your student to find that is to go to the bentley.campusgroups.com. They will be able to do single sign-in with their Bentley login, and then there is a list of organizations. So if they search for Bentley Investment Group, their general group email account is on there, as well as a list of their members and their e-board, so they can personally reach out to students who are involved, also see the group's meeting time, how to get involved. All of that information is in one spot.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time, just so that way you have our contact information, some of those websites that we've referenced. Please follow us at Welcome Falcons if you have not done so already. We'll continue to do those live Q&As with our current students. So if you want to ask more of these questions, whether it's about the clubs and organizations or ways that our current students stay connected with their families, their support folks, we just want to make sure that we can continue this partnership. So thank you so much for joining us. If you do have any other questions, please reach out, and we look forward to continuing this connection over the next couple of years and into the future. So thanks so much and take care.
Thank you. Take care.